Awesome. It's already happening. So
Are you are you ready, Scott?
I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
good.
gonna I'm gonna share my screen now, okay?
Okay.
Oh,
you for attending this session today. We are honored that you would take your time today to spend it with us. We pray that you get out of this session everything you had hoped for and more. Scott Schilling, the authentic connector, has impacted hundreds of thousands globally over the last 40 years in sales and leadership training. He doesn't just teach strategy, he delivers transformation. So get ready to sell smarter, connect deeper, and grow with purpose. Please help me welcome Scott Schilling.
That is so nice to have. Yeah, really. Whoa. That is so nice to have a nice introduction. So, uh, if you could increase your sales 20 to 50% without working harder, just by changing a few daily habits, would you like to know what they are? No? Crickets? We got nothing. Okay. So,
Scott, stop asking answers. Okay?
here's the bottom line. I've been doing this for a while. I know I look like I'm 29, but I've been doing this for a few more years than that. And so the reality is that a lot of things have come and gone. A lot of things have come and stayed during that period of time. The one thing about sales, ultimately, in my belief, is it is a human to human interaction. So if we think of all the different things that have come along in the entire process, there are tools that make connection easier. There are tools that give us greater breadth. There are tools like we're on right here. I'm in Dallas, Texas. I don't believe anybody else is, but yet we're still talking to each other. I know Robert's up in Calgary just having a wee old time because Calgary's a fun spot.
Yeah.
So the point is what technology allows us to do is connect and do things that we couldn't do. So when we incorporate technology into our sales process, we actually get better because it gives us greater breadth, it gives us greater things provided. See, AI is not going to replace salespeople. Salespeople who are using AI are going to be replacing those who don't. Why? Because it's a tool. It's like when people resisted cell phones. Believe it or not, I was part of the first test group to have a phone in my car in Chicago, Illinois in 1984. And I could actually be stuck on the expressway, but still be doing business. It turned Chicago into a much more pleasurable experience. I wasn't as concerned about traffic because I wasn't fretting about the fact that I couldn't talk to my customers or I couldn't get calls done. Well, that's an example of technology. So again, AI is not going to replace salespeople. If we want to AI proof ourselves, become more human. Here's what you can do with it, though. We're going to talk to you today about simple, practical AI habits that you can start using immediately. For what? To close more sales. That's what we're really working to do. Now, I prefer to say secure more agreements. I want to open relationships with my customers. I don't want to close them. So I kind of modify that whole term. I'm working to secure agreements with people. You can shorten the sales cycle. There are 7 natural steps to the sales cycle. First of all, most people don't even recognize there's 7 steps, much less do them and do them in order. There are. That's not what this talk is about. That's actually my talk from last month. I would encourage you to get that recording because it was a heck of a talk. And the other part is So it'll shorten the sales cycle. It'll bring from meeting somebody to securing an agreement. It'll shorten that. But it'll also increase your confidence in every conversation. One of the things, if you ever read Good to Great by Jim Collins, or you ever read a lot of the different books that are out there, Malcolm Gladwell and different things, Gladwell will say it takes 10,000 hours of expertise. Well, I have far more than 10,000 hours selling, okay, and presenting and securing agreements. So, therefore, the reason I have expertise in this area is because I've done it for a long time. So, if you haven't done it in a long time, what AI will allow you to do is get some of the foundational knowledge so that you can start to step up your process. So, again, it's not a bad thing, it's just a thing, it's a tool. So, what are the old sales habits? Well, guessing at what to say. Gosh, this person is in a business that I've never addressed before, and I've got no clue how to talk to him about it. Well, what if you could type a few keystrokes and all of a sudden now have information about that particular occupation or need in that area? It can help write emails from scratch. Now, you may be a great editor and you might end up with some great emails that you produce yourself. But if you could get a base set that you can then simply edit as opposed to have to create, that's going to add some velocity to what you're doing. And reacting versus preparing. The reality is one of the keys to my success over all these years is I prepare better than anybody else does. I go into the situation fully anticipating securing the agreement, not out of ego or arrogance, but out of preparation. See, if I know more, I can do better. And that's what AI allows us to do. So, what are the new habits? Well, the new habits become guided messaging. In other words, you can direct it much better. You can do pre call intelligence. So, if we look at the military, what does the military do before any engagement? They do intel gathering. They learn as much about their target as they can possibly learn so that they have all contingencies planned for. It's very much the same in sales. If I can plan for all the contingencies, now I go into the situation much better off. And the other side is precision follow-up. The one thing that many salespeople are good at is the presentation side. They actually have a lot of the process down, but what they're not so great at is the follow-up, is being able to customize, being able to do some things. So again, it's all part of this is how you frame it. AI isn't going to, and it does not replace your voice. It simply refines it. It allows it to be implemented and executed better from that side. So if we start looking at a number of different small habits here, and we'll go through these pretty quick. The first is pre-call, getting a little briefing as to what's going on. If you ask AI to summarize your prospect before every call, what do you mean? There are systems, Grok, Perplexity, Chat GPT, there's a ton, Copilot, that you can say, hey, give me detail on this person or this business, and it can whip up some pretty quick information for you. So it can do a lot of information gathering. Now, the prompt could be summarize this company, their challenges, and how my service could help them. That'd be pretty good to know going in, wouldn't it? So again, preparation. So what does that do? It allows you to walk in prepared. You're in a much better situation. Prepared salespeople are typically veteran salespeople, meaning they've done it. They've got their 10,000 plus hours in to accomplish this. It'll also allow you to ask smarter questions. Because you'll know more about your client, you'll be able to ask better questions. You'll be able to create credibility very quickly. Because again, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If they don't feel like you're interested in them, you've got to challenge that way. Second is using AI to power your question generation. In other words, creation from that side. Generate high impact discovery questions before having the conversation. Again, if you're not technically an expert in the field of your customer, AI can help you get that information. So again, a prompt could be, give me 10 powerful discovery questions for the HVAC industry and a prospect considering a new air conditioner. I know, probably not applicable to this group. It's just the things that popped in the top of my head. Sorry about that. But you get the idea, right? It could give me 10 discovery questions uh, for those wanting to lose weight and a prospect considering a weight loss program. You understand, you can be very specific in what you ask. What that does is it allows for better conversations. Again, you're more prepared. It allows for a deeper emotional connection. Now, here's the thing that most people have never heard about sales, but it's absolutely true. People buy emotionally, people justify logically. So, logic is all the features, advantages, and benefits. That's the logic. Actually, the features and advantages are the logical side. The benefits touch on the emotional side. How am I going to feel after I give you $1,000? Right? Are you going to give me so much benefit that $1,000 goes from being $1,000 to, wow, that's cheap? Something like that. So it's faster trust. It's everything like that. The third habit that you could modify is post-call recap and follow-up. Uh, you could put your call notes into AI and then generate follow-up emails. I actually use a system that many times records everything, transcribes it, dumps it into a file. It now searches for follow-up items. It then gives me the committed follow-up items that I said during the thing. Sometimes if you're not writing them down, you might say, "Oh yeah, I'll get you that immediately," or "I'll do whatever," right? You now have systems that can do that. Uh, what you can do also is instruct, once you have that file in there, you can instruct, turn these notes into a powerful, concise follow-up that reinforces the value of what time we spent together, of what offers we talked about. Could be a lot of different things in this case. Again, faster follow-up, more professional communication, and higher response rates. Here's the bottom line. No matter what your offer is, the first thing that people buy is you. And if they don't buy you, it doesn't matter how good your thing is, whatever your thing is. And I'm going to stop down for a second here and I'm going to, okay, this is a shocker. So just get ready. Nobody cares about your offer. Let that sink in. They don't. They don't care about my offer either. You're not in a lonely hearts club. Anybody who has an offer, they don't care about. They don't care about the offer. They care about what the offer will deliver to make their life better. Whether that's saving time, energy, money. Those are the big three. How does what you do save them time, energy, or money? But I'm in the weight loss business. What is that about time or money? Well, money, they're going to change the food they eat. So that's going to affect money. Energy is, we're not talking about expended energy. We're talking about having more energy. So that you understand how you tie these things together. Okay, back to the presentation. The fourth little habit is objection handling practice. People have said, Scott, how can you handle any and every objection? I have never seen you flustered. You want to know the secret? I've probably heard that objection 1,000 or more times in my career. There are very few objections that I hear anymore that I haven't heard before. Okay, so you develop calluses, you develop muscles for it, right? It's like anything else. So the one thing that AI can do is role play objections. So you can actually ask, in other words, you could say, hey, Chat GPT, how would you respond to somebody telling me my price is too high? It's a pretty common objection. It's typically a smokescreen, but it is a common objection. The point is, my encouragement, and it's one of the things I talk to all my clients about, my students, my clients, everybody I can talk to. If you don't have an ongoing list of every objection you've ever heard, you're missing an opportunity. Why? Because if you start detailing every objection that you've ever heard, that's all experience based for you. And so again, if somebody says, well, I don't have enough money with me, write it down. The next time somebody says, I don't have any money in my account, that's actually a different objection. It's not the same objection. One is immediacy, one is ever. There's two different things there. So again, as you start to compile the list of objections, it'll be absolutely amazing to you going forward. Okay. Uh, Habit number 5, message refinement. I'm a messaging expert. Why am I a messaging expert? Because how we say things, the quality of your communications ultimately becomes the quality of your life, becomes the quality of your business. You've got to learn you actually have to learn how to say the exact same thing 5 different ways. Why? Because you'll say it once and it won't land. So you say the same concept slightly differently. Oh, okay, now it lands. So again, this is all just repetition. Quality salespeople come from repetition. So, message refinement, improve your emails, improve scripts, improve presentations before sending them. You can take an email you've written, put it into AI, and say, evaluate this for any things that you believe should be modified. A prompt might be rewrite this to be more persuasive or more emotionally compelling or more concise. There are a lot of times that I'll take what I believe to be a really quality email that I've crafted. Again, I craft them to the best of my ability to be as effective as they can be. But I'll take them and I'll put them into AI to say, okay, now say this in only 100 words. Or now say this in only this time frame. In other words, I'll ask AI to now compress it. See, if I try to compress it, I'm kind of emotionally attached to it. I wrote it in the first place, and I write good stuff. right? So we tend to get emotionally attached to it. Well, if we can release that, it's amazing what can happen. What happens? Stronger messaging, clearer value, more conversations, everything gets better. Okay. Tip number 6. I still got a couple more tips and we can talk about some other things. Personalization and scale. The one thing that AI can do is mass quantities of stuff faster than we can typically do it ourselves. Okay. So those are all very technical terms, mass quantities of stuff, right? So we can ask it to do things that now give us scale. So personalize a message to a CEO of a healthcare company focused on growth. We can get very specific. We might not have ever called on somebody in the healthcare industry, but we've heard this company is growing. We either read it online, we saw it in a video, we heard it somewhere. We now have a new piece of information so that we can now take our expertise and what we have and now use it that way. So, what does that do for you? Higher open rates, better engagement, and more booked meetings. And I was talking to a prospective client yesterday, and they said they had 15 prospects that attended a live event for them. They had already 11 of the 15 became members, and they just got a message that 2 more were done. That's 13 out of 15. That's an exceptional conversion rate. And they said, "Well, what would you do differently?" I said, "I'd call the other 2. Let's go for 100%." Right? The point is when we know what we're doing, when we're in control of that, it's amazing what happens, right? Uh, the seventh habit is a daily 10-minute AI sales training. Use your AI to share pieces of information to refine things. Now, I am a um, advocate for a personal coach. Why? I grew up playing 5 sports. I had amazing coaches along the way. They taught from experience. They actually did it. They taught me how to do it from actually doing it. I've had great success that way. And the one thing that AI has not caught up with yet, in my opinion, I Scott GPT, which is something I built out of my materials, will give you awesome answers. General AI, sometimes, unfortunately, too many times, will give you general answers. There's a reason why I coach, because I've done this. And that's one thing that AI doesn't have. Recognize it for what it is, recognize it for where it can help you, but also understand it's not the end all be all. It's part of it. It's a good part of it, but it's part of it. So, again, my encouragement to you is everything is selling. That's a bold statement, Scott. I'd expect you to prove that. Okay, I will. Have you ever been on a date? You made a sale. Have you ever put a kid to bed? You've made a sale. Are you married? You're better at this than you think. You are the product. So the reality is every time we open our mouth, we're making a sales presentation. So to demystify this for you, to reframe this for you, selling is actually serving. Because in essence, what selling is identifying problems and providing solutions. People make this whole process way too hard for all the wrong reasons. It is actually about identifying somebody's challenge and then solving it with a product, good, or service. It's that simple. So again, sometimes people say, well, I don't want to be salesy. Well, first of all, what the heck does that mean? I don't want to be salesy. If you have the solution to somebody's terminal illness and you choose not to offer it, that's selfish. That's not salesy. Now, if you work to get them to take advantage of something for your own benefit, not their benefit, that's not salesy. That's manipulation. I'm going to suggest people don't dislike salespeople. People dislike manipulators. I don't ever want to sell you anything. I do always want you to buy a lot from me. Therefore, it becomes my responsibility to create an environment for you to want what I have. Well, if I find out what your problems or challenges are, and my offer solves that, it's my invitation to share that for your consideration. That's called an offer. And now I make the offer, and it is up to you to either accept or reject that offer. If you reject it, we now get into objection handling. Again, I don't get emotional about it. What you're really doing is you're asking me for more information to help you understand why taking advantage of what I'm saying is good for you. See, I come out of the Ziegler camp. You can have everything in life you want when you simply help enough other people get what they want. Selling is serving. When I serve you, good things can happen for you. And once good things happen for you, good things also happen for me. We exchange value. I give you a solution to your challenge. You give me certificates of appreciation. Some people call those dollars, right? You will give me any number of dollars as long as I give you more value in exchange. If I deliver you more value, then I take from you or I receive from you, you're happy as a clam. You made the decision because it solved your problem. The reason we do this in this direction, I don't ever want to sell you anything, but I do always want you to buy a lot from me, is because you're making the decision to secure the agreement and make the purchase. And if something doesn't work as you have anticipated, you will not get mad at me because you will also not get mad at you. But if I over encourage you to take an action, which is ultimately good for me, not so good for you, as soon as I don't meet the expectations that I stated that got you to take the action, you are not going to be happy with me. Which is why people don't like salespeople, except it wasn't a salesperson that did that to you. It was a manipulator. And there's a difference. So again, when we take this all, small habits repeated daily create massive sales momentum and massive success. Today's activity does not determine today's volume. Today's volume is determined by what happened 30, 60, 90 days ago. Today's activity determines what happens 30, 60, 90 days from now. It's why I congratulate you for being here. If you're not securing enough deals, if you're not making enough money, it's not because of today. It's because what you didn't do the previous days. This is a point of demarcation. You made it a point to be here. You made it a point to hear this material. Now the next thing is put it into action. And when you do, sales rise, revenues rise, you like me, and you have a better life. Those are all good things. So with that, we've got about a minute and a half. If anybody has a question or anything, love to answer it. Fire away.
Not a question, but a thank you.
You're welcome.
Gratitude for
My
breaking it down
pleasure.
like that.
What's that?
I say gratitude for the way you broke it down. Thank you.
My pleasure. Again, I just want people to live their best life.
Yes, you actually do. You are very calm. I did some notes like about how to actually communicate better your I call like needs and wants, and in a more like productive way, and be patient with yourself in the first place, and also like how to you said like I'm an advocate of I forgot that it was like, and I said to myself, like, I'm an advocate of creative thinking. So how I can grow towards that, because it takes some time to, build uh, that confidence long term.
It's really a process of putting it into action. And as you put things into action, it's actually amazing what happens.
Yeah. It's all about, I feel like it's all about action and like I have like expectations that many people will understand you right away, and would be open to um, appreciate your services. But it takes time to build up that audience, or the people
My
who.
One of the concepts I teach consistently is create relationships way ahead of ever needing the relationship.
Yeah,
People do business with those they trust. Trust
yeah.
doesn't happen the first time you talk to somebody. So therefore, build trust way ahead of the need for trust.
Mhm.
Scott, do you remember what your first sales experience was like?
Absolutely. I was